Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back. Back in effect, yeah? And what are we getting into? Rap Game UK, and we are now on episode 5, Past and Pressure, and we're not that far away from the final. Let's just put it that way, right? So in this episode we find out who is going to the finals, and I'd predicted, yeah, as I do, Laya Haydog. I thought Cam Keddy might squeeze in there, and Subliminal, and if another had to go in, I thought Sabreezy might make it. Okay, so before we get in to this episode, as I always ask my fellow renegades, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so you know I'm on new videos. Please comment, like, share and do the good things that you do, because you all know I'm on the road to 1k. Okay, so basically we already know from the previous episode that Krept, Conan and Target have decided to change the rankings. So within these two challenges now, it's all to play for, because you literally now have to work your ass off in order to show that you are at a level as to why they need to pick you to be in that final at the end of the day, right? So everybody is going to have a target in order to get into that final, more than being first in the rankings at the end of the day, because that's where they need to be on that other side. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be about who shined more. So the twist is, in this beat, there's no change for Laya and Sabreezy. They're keeping Laya at first, they're keeping Sabreezy at second place. They're keeping the bottom two where they are as well. So they're keeping Haydog in 6th, they're keeping Amadi Steeds in 7th. It's the ones in the middle that got changed. Okay, so all I'm gonna say is, Only Zizu is one of those he's not even quietly confident. Do you know what I mean? He's arrogantly confident. That's how I'll put it across. So they moved Only Zizu to 5th and Subliminal to 4th. Again, Subliminal is in 4th. He's been in 4th majority of the time since he's been in this RAS competition, to be honest with you. So he's literally just like flatlined at 4th. He hasn't gone up, he hasn't gone down, he hasn't really made any movement in that sense. Only Zizi, you could tell, was not happy with that. And to be fair, if it were me, I would not be happy too, if I'm honest, if I'm really honest, because it kind of came down between them two, is they were both on level pegging, but it kind of came down to, as Krept and Conan and Target was explaining it, who of the crowd shouted highest for, and they shouted highest for Subliminal when he went on and spat his bars at the BBC introducing stage. I thought, that's a bit messed up. Do you know what I mean? That is a bit messed up, because you know what? Only Zizu did give a bit of stage presence at the end of the day, and that's how I saw it. He did come out of his shell a little bit, but as I've always said, this man speaks in shades of grey sometimes, and he doesn't necessarily fully connect with his target audience, is what I'm saying.
We've decided to change the ranking.
Subliminal is talking about how the fact that he is in 4th place, and he's talking about how he's glad where he is, he's going to move up, yada yada yada. But my thing is, how are you going to make that change from being in 4th place so many times to get on an even level with Laya? Because right now, Laya is a clear favourite. Sabreezy at that time as well was a clear favourite, because the crowd absolutely loved that girl at the end of the day. Even though I can't sometimes understand a word the girl say, the crowd loved that.
Who shined more? That's what this ranking is, basically.
It's not who done bad.
Who done bad, it's just who shined.
Only Zizu. You've ended up at number 5.
At number 4, we got Subliminal step forward. They're cheering. So for us, that's a no-brainer.
So all I'm going to say is, I would be one happy woman if a woman won a rap game for the first time ever. If a woman ran, I keep saying ran, bring it back, won the rap game for the first time ever. I'll be dancing in the streets. I'd love it. I'd absolutely love it. So Cam Keddy came number 3. So they took the 3rd spot from Only Zizu and gave it to Cam Keddy.
In at number 3,
Cam Keddy.
And I thought, okay, happy days. But this time, this man needs to keep his head in the game, because his head likes to go wandering. It likes to go wandering, and not an artist you will make if you're not able to stand in your greatness in terms of knowing who you are and what it is that you put out to the people. Do you know what I mean? So there's 2 challenges left before the final. Only the finalists will go through to the Kenny All-Star show. So the challenge, this part, is they have to do a 32 bar about their personal life. So basically they have to include their heritage in terms of what made them, what shaped them into the person that they're in today. So it basically means that you are laying a part of yourself bare for the people them at the end of the day to judge you on. And they've got to make sure that whatever they sing, that emotion comes through, it emotes through in terms of what they're saying to hit the people that are judging them. Because I think this is going to be the hardest thing for majority of them in there, in regards to setting their emotions out, especially only Zizou, because I'm telling you, he don't show no emotion when he's singing. When he speaks, sometimes he doesn't really show that outward emotion. Don't get me wrong, this man knows music. Only Zizou knows music. He knows how to put a sound together. But the problem is his execution when he's singing his bars. It just doesn't come across as great. As I keep saying, shades of grey at the end of the day. Only Zizou turns around and he says that, you know, he feels vulnerable doing this task. But my thought is, the key is to put as much thought and vulnerability into it, to connect with your audience. Because if you don't make it believable for the people, ordinary people like us watching you, yeah, then we ain't gonna believe what you're saying either. At the end of the day, we are not going to be going along on that journey with you, because it's just literally going to be white noise. He needs to make sure that he's able, as I said, to connect with the people then, because if he don't, then that's it. That's put paid to that at the end of the day. So you see them all doing the words, they're putting practice into the bars. Hey Dog speaks of his Sudanese heritage. I was like, oh, that's quite surprising, because I wouldn't have guessed, looking at him, that you know, his family's from Sudan. So I was like, okay, that's good, because he'll be able to put in exactly, you know, certain aspects of what's happening in Sudan, because he's going to be very aware of what's happening in, you know, his family's home country, and to his family and his people them at the end of the day. So Cam Keddy talked about how he was going to spit it in terms of growing up without a dad and then being a young father himself. Now, for me, this is the topic that some rappers always tend to go to. So he needs to be able to make it singular to himself and his experiences, that in turn nobody can take away from him. All I hope is he's able to connect to the emotions around this, because at the end of the day, especially for when it comes to young black men and young black fathers, when there's that stigma around it, it's a very hard topic to talk about. So I'm hoping that, you know, Cam Keddy's got to the point where, you know, I can release this, do you know what I mean, and show you exactly who Cam Keddy is, that there's another side besides the Cam Keddy love your girls player type vibe to my actual like, you know, emotive side. I hope he can put that out, but we shall see how that goes. So Breezy says that she literally wants to talk about how she's the one that always gives a lot to people and doesn't really get anything back in terms of what she puts out. So sometimes that makes her feel like an outsider in the environment and she's in and the world that she's in. Again, I hope it comes across in her music, because as I said, her thought does not sometimes compute to the bars that she says, and sometimes I can't understand the last bars that she said. So I literally will have to be listening closely to when she starts spitting her bars. So then we get to Subliminal, and he's basically going to be telling his story where his flavour of his white boy came from. Basically, he was feeling lost without an identity, in terms of going into a children's home, but then in turn he ended up getting embraced by, you know, the culture, and he in turn ended up embracing the culture. I think this one may be a hard one to play, because people may see Subliminal as a culture vulture, but instead I believe that he's appreciative of the culture that he grew up in and adapted to. So I just hope that comes out in his music too. So then we get to Only Zizou, and he's going to be speaking about his family because he holds them in high regard and holds them dear to his heart. So this is what I said about him, especially when you're speaking about your family, you need to bring that emotion out. Yeah. It is my opinion alone when I said he sings in his own shades of grey. Okay, there's not an ounce of colour there for me, is what I'm saying. But when he's in a group, that boy can switch up, that boy can show something, do you know what I mean? But I give it to Only Zizu because he showed some insight in the fact that he can come across as emotionless, and basically hopes this challenge will make him come across as more human. I ain't gonna lie, I want them all to win. If they could all win, I'd want them all to win in terms of what it is that they do. I really, really do. So then you see Leia, and she speaks about, like, she's going to be speaking about her ends, in the fact that there was, you know, a possibility that she could have been born in Sierra Leone, but she didn't. Her family ended up coming to London, and that's where she was born. So hopefully she can compute what she sings about. But I know with Leia, with the emotion part, she's got that down pat at the end of the day. She's pure talent. She really knows what her sound is and how to promote her sound at the end of the day. I just hope it can bring her a place in the final. So Armani Steezy talks about the city he was born in and the family he was born into. All I hope for Armani Steezy is that he has clarity in his words and clearness in his diction. When he raps his message, because I sincerely want to know who he is. Do you know what I mean? I think this part of the competition will create great penmanship. If Armani Steezy can lay it down and make sense, he will come out with a thumbs up. It will be good. It will be good for him. That's all I'm gonna say on that one. It'll be good for him. So we do end up seeing a little bit more of Armani. And he basically says that his name Armani means peace in Swahili, and Steez that he added on means style. So he basically talked about how he was born in the Congo, and music for him, as he said, weirdly started when he was always writing gibberish in his notebooks. And I thought, that hasn't stopped, my friend. Like, that really has not stopped. But if Armani could put this, what he's talking about, in his performance, because this is what us as listeners would want to know, what it was like being brought up in the Congo, then coming to the UK and having to adapt to a different type of culture here. Basically, he said that it made him appreciate where he was from, and he'd experienced a different way of living, and he basically masked from people that he was born and brought up for portion of his life in the Congo, basically. And because he didn't want people to turn around and come to him and say, "Oh, ain't you that boy from Wakanda?" And I'm like, if he is able to draw on these experiences like that he's talking about, would actually make a solid performance for him if he can give the clarity and make it make sense. Do you know what I mean? So it's challenge time, and they are in St. Luke's Church. Okay, and it's raining too, so you know what, as an artist, you've got to deal with the chips as they fall at the end of the day. Literally, if the electrics and all the sound equipment and everything can still work, then you can still sing. Do you know what I mean? So the mentor today was Potter Paper. Now, they all knew who he was. Me, not so much. At the end of the day, he's known for his storytelling rap, is what I can gather. Okay, so if any of you know who Potter Paper is and can give a little bit more information in the comments, then please do, because I am open to learning, because I know I'm going to go try and find his music now and listen to it, because I'm all about knowing about the UK artists that are homegrown at the end of the day. So first up was Armani Steezy. I ain't going to lie, you know, Armani came through with the clarity for me. It was on point. He showed emotion. We heard a little bit more of him through the music. And I think he also, from looking at the judges' faces, he got them to take notice too. He actually made sense in this one. He made sense. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? Go on, Armani. Go on.
This week I touched my pen crying. Thoughts that turn to the death of me remain on our side. Ask Patel and ask Spider.
So up next was Cam Keddy. At first, he was doing quite well in connecting with everyone, including me. And then he got the part about where he sang, "Will still be there like a dickhead." He's not his father. And that was it. Once he'd gone to the father beat, that was it. Cam Keddy lost it, like all his words. And at that point, I was kind of like, dude, come on, suck it up for real. Like, really, 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 truly. And then when he replayed it, it got to the same part, and that was it. He just completely gave up. And I was like, these people really just gave their third place away to Cam Keddy and took it away from Only Zizou. And this Cam's got in his head all over again. And then what happens with him, his words get lost, like completely lost. And it's a shame, because he had the emotions down. He would have had that impact if he'd managed to get like through what he was singing.
Yo, look, it's Cam Keddy, but girl call me cheated. Convo heated, this one cheated. I'll still be there like a dickhead, cause I'm not like my father. Cause I'm not like my father.
I was listening intently. I really wanted him to do well, and it just literally kind of flopped. And it's what Potter Paper said. Like, you know, he flopped twice when he was on that route to talking about his father, and it probably shows that it was something that he was not ready to open up about, which is true. Because these emotions and these memories can be raw. Trust me. I know. And this is why he probably should have went down the emotional route, but probably should have picked a different subject rather than his dad, when that's still seems to be an unmet trauma for him, and something he doesn't necessarily talk about. But then to have to open up and sing about it in front of all these people that don't really know you, do you know what I mean? Don't really know you. That's a hard one. That is a hard one. So next up was Hey Dog. I was like, yes, Hey Dog did it again. And it's just about the rawness of Hey Dog when he performs, especially when it's something like this. It just completely shines through. He talks about his Sudanese heritage. He talks about the wars. He talks about his people struggling. I felt like a proud mama. He made me proud. And a little emotional. And this is what I want to hear in this type of lyricism. It was just music to my ears. It needs to punch you in the gut. And he didn't even temper his word. He just laid them out like a bullet out of a gun, like do. I was like, yeah, he's good. Ain't gonna lie. He'll be out of 7th completely with that performance. It will depend on how he goes on the next challenge, but with that performance alone, that boy's gonna be in the final. That boy will be in the final for real.
Listen, look, I'm never nervous, but I'm wary. Gotta move and tell me about risk. I've took risks, we can go there. My father's from Sudan, my heritage is Sudan. Make the war, inshallah, Allah, I believe it.
He did get one criticism from Piper Potter. Basically, was not to sell himself short, because at the end of the day, you have 32 bars. Use the whole 32 bars. Don't repeat your hook. When you have a moment to shine, then shine. And I rate Hey Dog because he took that as a compliment at the end of the day, because it was constructive feedback for him on what he can work on.
One criticism I'll give you, well, I would have liked to have heard a whole 32 bars rather than you repeating. So don't cut yourself short. Shine for the full time that you've got, you know what I mean?
But, you know, the others, Krept, Conan, and even Target, they were all happy. They were all happy with his performance. So next up was Leia. Now, she decided that she was going to use opera at the end of her performance to bring it back full circle, because she hadn't used it since when she did her first performance, and she wanted to bring it right back around again. All I'm going to say is her song was good, what I could hear with it, but she went through it so fast, that at some points for me, I couldn't understand what she was saying. Her diction had been lost. Her clarity was lost. I ain't going to put her all the way down. All I'm going to say is that she needs to breathe. Like sometimes she needs to breathe, especially when the opera came up, because it was like she was racing to get to that point, and she raced so hard that she was sounded so out of breath, and she was kind of off key at the beginning when it started, and then as it lifted, she got back into her joint in terms of that. But when it first started, I was kind of like, ooh, Leia, my love, that didn't sound good at that part. Like, it really that did not sound good at that part, yeah.
I'm from a place could get banned in the face if you look at somebody wrong. I'm from a place where the man them stay track kitty from the night till morning. Could have been born in Sierra Leone, but I was born in the UK.
Conan even said as well, like, she shouldn't have done the opera at the end, and I was of the same vein that she maybe shouldn't have done the opera at the end. She should have carried on with her bars, because he did turn around and said that it kind of sounded pitchy when she first started, and I'm gonna have to agree with Conan on that one, because that's what I felt at the beginning. It sounded, I was just like, you know, when you get something like nails down a chalkboard or something like that, something that isn't too agreeable to your ears. That's what it sounded like when she first started, and that's because my gal didn't breathe. Like, she literally did not take a breath after she finished that last bar.
I've done the opera thing at the end, you know, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
It was a bit pitchy when you first came in. Like, it started getting there. It got there.
Of what she was spitting, because she got there so fast. She didn't have a chance to take a fucking breath. And she went straight into the opera, and it was kind of a little bit flat at the beginning. That's all I can say. So, next up was Sabrizi. What can I say? She started off well. Yeah, but again, for me, I couldn't understand her words. I couldn't understand what she was saying. Her clarity was so off. Her diction was so off. I had to literally listen really hard to see if I could pick something out of the first few bars, and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't find not a bean of what she was talking about. Now, the beat and probably what she was trying to do was good. The sound was good, but I can't connect with someone if I can't hear what you're speaking about at the end of the day. Then she got to her opening rap, which was clear. It was clear. I could hear her. And then she flubbed it. She lost her words completely. Then my gal began to hum and try and bring herself back. Crep did not look impressed by any of that at all, because my thing with Sabrizi is what she does is when she's writing, she adds extra words in. So when she's singing it, she can't get all those words out in the pattern that she wants them to get out in. And then I think the beat is probably going that little bit too fast, and she's trying to pack it in, and then what happens is it just goes all to pot. So yeah.
It's unfortunate to say I've lived a long time. Every time I open up my mind, I feel these binges rushes into freestyles. I should have written down that and
as far as I could see at this point, the only people I could see that had done well was Amani Steez and Hey Dog. I think Leia did well, but yeah, she should have laid off the opera at the end. But at this point, this starting point, we hadn't got to Only Zizi and Subliminal yet, so let's continue with that, shall we? So then we get to Only Zizi. I ain't gonna lie, he did pull me in. But again, I got no emotion from him, and that's just solely my opinion. He was on point. He did flub at the beginning as well. But again, for me, there was no emotion in there that was emoting from him in his performance. But you know what? You can let me know what you thought about that performance.
Let me tell you where I grew up, where it weren't up for... I'm T just the same, I need an Esther. Did you think that wouldn't affect and then it shows? But I can't forget about that last train to Paris.
Then next up was Subliminal. He flubbed at the beginning as well. I have to say, once he did get into it though, he did do well. He did bring me in, and it was a great insight to who Subliminal was and how he got to be where he is today, basically. It was good to my ears what I was listening to. The beat he picked was all him. He got the emotion out as well. He was definitely being a storyteller, and even Crep said that, you know, it was a proper story. And it was a proper story, but Subliminal's idol, who was there, is Pot of Paper, and I think Subliminal was pushing even harder to impress him in terms of the storytelling techniques that he has, because he wanted it to be on par with what, you know, he was what's the freaking word? What's the freaking word when somebody likes your work? Inspiration. That's it. When he was inspirated. Is inspirated even a word? Is it a word? You can pop that in the comments as well.
Where did we start this story? I can't stay in one lane like Tories, but I round the block and not in a literal sense. So this talk about culture vulture, white boy turned black really needs to stop. I'm the eldest of 6 grade siblings. I grew up with aunts and uncles, none of which shared the same blood, but it restored my spirit, imparted wisdom. Only fuels the need for my own. So I want me a wife and kids and turn a house to a home.
Yeah, well, Pot of Paper was the inspiration for Subliminal. So Pot of Paper had to then pick the standout artist for him. Man picked Hey Dog because that's the type of music that he listened to. Oh, Subliminal looked kind of hurt by that pick. Let me put it that he did. The face that he made, he may say, "Oh no, it was cool. It was okay." No, love, the face that he made when Pot of Paper picked Hey Dog, you could tell that one stung.
But for me personally, the standout artist was Hey Dog.
That one stung, especially from a role model as well. But as to be fair, Hey Dog went hard, to be honest with you, with his song. And if I'm honest, would I go back and listen to Hey Dog's song? Yes, I damn well would. And Subliminals will be a close second, to be honest with you. Those will be the 2 songs that I will go back and listen to. So the next challenge is basically their last chance to bring their A game. And gonna have to find a way to stop the pressure from getting to them. So a text comes in, and the next challenge is a face-to-face meeting with industry experts. They need to manage and market themselves. I don't know how all of them will be able to do it, to be fair, like seriously, because this is something that they've never done before, so this is a first for them. So they then also have to produce 16 bars reflecting on their position and their experience within the competition. They will then have to sing it with the judges present as well. And I thought, right, it's time to get to work, because you know what? You ain't getting in that final to cover that £20,000 if you don't do the work. I honestly think they should have confidence in themselves in terms of who they are. And what they bring and what they see themselves as and how they can make it happen. They will have to bring to the scene that it's a business for them too. Yeah. Not only will you be, like, you know, bringing yourself money in, but also giving it back to those that actually invest in you and support you at the same time. So these are the people that are going to be, like, you know, the industry hitters that are going to be speaking to the artists.
Mimi the music blogger is a content creator. Getting the support from a name like Mimi is a massive way to cement your place in the music.
Shanice Sharway is the head of black music and culture at YouTube Europe. Ricky Blue is a prominent record exec in the UK rap and grime scene.
So, I'm impressed. And now it's about the artists to make themselves marketable to these individuals at the end of the day. So Krept, Conan and Target are watching from another room, so they're taking notes in regards to how the artists are dealing with the pressure of the questions being asked and if they're actually making an impression. So only everybody walks in, gives them a handshake, gives them a dap, you know, sits down, hi, how you doing, da 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 da. Why does Oli Zizo walk in and went to sit straight down without even saying hello to these people? Full on faux pas. It was Mimi who had to ask him what? No shaking hands. No shaking hands or nothing. Oli Zizu then gets up and says, sorry, I didn't know. I'm like, my guy, you enter a room wanting to impress these people and you don't even greet them from the gate. And you're telling me you didn't know that you was not meant to even shake their hand and say hello, nothing? Come on, nobody can be that dense.
Hey.
It's good. How you doing, bro? You alright?
Hey. Hi, darling.
How are you? I'm good, thank you.
How you doing? You alright?
Respect, yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
You should have known, because at the end of the day, when you go for a job interview, you make yourself as friendly as possible, as open as possible. Even if you don't shake hands straight away when you leave, you say thank you very much and you try to shake their hand. Come on now. So yeah, in essence, with Only Zizu, from what I saw, he did not bring to the forefront, as Target said, he was treating it like it was an interview, so he wasn't being his natural self. Or it might have been, to be honest with you, because this man don't show no emotion, and for me he was coming off like a cold fish, and I thought this is not going to work. They're not getting who Only Zizu is at the end of the day. It's about selling yourself, but people also want to see your personality. So I think they have a take on, like, if you were to introduce Only Zizu to people, it's kind of like, well, how are you going to act with them? How are you going to draw them in? At least if you're looking at collaborating with someone, if you're coming off as this really cold exterior, this really cold persona, they ain't going to want to work with you, because they just ain't going to feel that connection to you that you think you have with people, but you don't. So Mimi said what I've been saying. Like, when I say my shades of grey, Mimi turned around and says to Only Zizu that there's no charisma about him. He sounds so unbothered. Only Zizu turned around and turned to her and said, is that a problem? I was like, dude, no, don't do this. Don't. And I'm just like, at the end of the day, yes, you need to take yourself seriously, but you need to have fun with it as well. You need to have fun with it as well, and take them on that journey with you. And again, it was just grey. All of it was grey and monotone. I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry. You can put, if you've watched it and you watched that bit, let me know what you thought about his interview etiquette in the comments, because I wouldn't even, if I was one of the industry hitters, I would have thought, he did this. He's not somebody that we can work with at the end of the day.
Oh, no shaking hands, nothing?
I didn't know. Sorry.
From your music and get from you. He's definitely treating this like a job interview. Like, his whole energy is job interview.
There's no charisma. Like, your voice sounds unbothered.
Is that a problem?
So Haydog came in. Bearing in mind, none of these have done this before. So he was open and relaxed. He talked about the ways in which he was unique. He talked about his accent, check mark number 1. He talked about how there's no other mixed rapper from the Wirral, check mark number 2 for him. He then spoke about his nan. Haydog basically let it out to them. He showed his emotions. He showed the essence of who he was. He took them on that damn journey at the end of the day to make them want to know more about him and ensure that they can work with him too.
No other mixed race rapper from the Wirral. And it's also my nan as well. I'm very hungry. I want it. I'm gonna win this competition. That's how hungry.
Hey, dog, he's a nice guy,
bro.
He's a likeable person.
So Amani Steez came in, and Mimi, basically, Amani Steez basically called himself a student of the game. I'll correct my statement. Yeah, you heard that right. Student of the game. So Mimi, because they already know the background of these people already and where they have been in the rankings, yeah? So Mimi talked about his placings, Amani Steez's placings within the competition, and then asked him, well, what kind of student do you call yourself? Yeah? Because at the end of the day, as a student, you're there to learn, make changes and rise, whereas Amani Steez went there, tried to learn, don't know if he made any changes, but man moved backwards in the rankings. So I don't think Amani was prepared for the type of questioning that he was going to get. He tried to give the tired and tested answers. He likened himself to Nas. Yeah. So in other words, Amani, as he was probably saying, Amani Steez shouldn't say things that you can't back up within performance at the end of the day. I would say Amani has potential, but his writing needs to be better. Like, to make it more lucid, clarity, diction, the lot needs to be better.
I call myself a student of the game.
Your performance, 5th place, 3rd, 7th. So what type of student is that?
Hearing this from other people, though.
A lot of inspiration, especially from like Nas. I'm lyrically complex.
Nas is very easily understood.
Yeah.
So then Sabrizi came in, and basically when they were talking to her, because you didn't see much of her interview, to be honest with her, Ricky Blue did say to her, maybe she's in a juxture of different sounds, which suggests that she probably hasn't found her niche yet. And I thought that's kind of interesting, because that was kind of my opinion, because I didn't necessarily get her sound. But then, is that me pigeonholing her into one set genre, when in actuality she is a plethora of genres? At the end of the day, she fits into any which one she decides that she's going to go into. But what Sabrizi has done is try to meld them all together, and people are just not getting it. So that's why she's quite unique at the end of the day.
At the moment, I'm currently like fluctuating between
You seem to be in a juxta of several different sounds, which suggests to me that you haven't discovered yours.
So afterwards, she talks about how, like, you know, the Heavy Hitters got tussled because of her being a multi-genre artist. They can't put a note on who she is as an artist. And as I said with Sabrizi, my thing is, there is talent there. Like, she does jump around in different genres as she does. But there's, as I said, within this competition though, there's only been one challenge where she got her second place, which was deserved, because the other performances that she has gave, even the one before this one, can't hear a word. It's just like honest jumble. So sometimes I think she does a disservice to herself. But Krypton Conan did give her the advice to, like, you know, she needs to make it a little bit more simple when she's penning. Stop trying to fit and cram everything into like a short space, because she can't get her words out when she does that. When she gets to the 16 bars, you will know if she listened to that advice or not. So Subliminal is basically selling them on his white boy flavor, basically to them. As again, we didn't really get to see the whole interview, but what I did see, it looked like he was having fun and they were coming along for the ride with him, basically.
At my age, I like making tracks for the females. Yeah, you're gonna see it in the performance for sure.
Are you sure?
Perfect. Always the white boy with the flavor.
So then we get to Cam Keddy. And I was just like, at this point, this man has literally not come to win. Like, he was so laid back. He was a horizontal. He was asked straight off the bat, if you win this competition, what are you going to do? This man blanked. And I thought, you should have that answer on roll, because you will know exactly, if you know what it is that you're setting out to do in terms of your music and your artistry, you know what it is exactly that you're going to do. If you have this X amount of money to funnel in to your artistry, you know what you're going to do with it. He did. No. I just don't know why this happened to Cam again. This man, as I said before, has so much talent, but he just is not doing himself any justice. He's not showing what he can do at all. And right now, he's not made a good impression. The man was vague, like honestly vague. He turns around and tells them he hadn't prepared for this beat. And I thought, my guy, you could have prepared for this, because you had a text come in, yeah? You had time to prepare a 16-bar track, and you didn't sit down and think that you needed to prepare to impress the people that can help you in this industry. I was like, yeah, at this point I was like, Cam, I love you and your sound, but you don't cook yourself. You cooked yourself out of the position in terms of at least trying to get into the final at the end of the day. And I think at that point Cam knows it. All I keep thinking of is self-sabotage. Like, seriously, I just keep thinking it's self-sabotage mode that he's doing to himself right now. That's how I'm seeing it. And it was truly sad to see at the end of the day. So Mimi, again, had to tell him, like, you know, about the people that were sitting in front of him. Like, you know, she works for YouTube, he's a producer, and I'm a blogger, and you are not giving us what you are supposed to be giving. It was disappointing to watch. That's all I'm going to say. It was disappointing to see Cam Keddy literally flush his fucking shit down the toilet. Like, seriously, it was not good. It was not good at all. So, you know, it's no use Cam then saying that, you know, he regretted that he should have said more and made sure he was in the playing field. And I'm just like, but this is not a moving muff guy. The way he sat back with his arms on the side and wasn't was kind of blasé about everything. I was like, yeah, nah, this is not a movie. You can't act nonchalant and think you're going to get what you want at the end of the day. You have to put work into that shit and show them that you're worth betting on. Cam didn't do any of that. Like, seriously didn't do any of that.
Release music, go studio.
So how would
Obviously, I ain't really like prepared for like this bit, innit?
I just don't feel like I know enough about you.
Well, you gotta ask me questions, man.
What?
So then you have Laya. Laya came in prepared. My gal came in with a laptop. Yeah, had her speech ready, PowerPoint ready, everything, diagrams, the lot, everything. She had it ready, and she basically told them who she was. She told them what her sound was. She basically was herself. She talked about her USP probably being more opera, and even Ricky Bleu turned to her and said, "Nah, your USP ain't opera, love. It's basically your confidence and your charisma. That's your USP." Again, with Laya's interview, it was a short piece. I think she will totally blow them away once she gets behind the mic at the end of the day, because Laya turns into something else once she gets on that stage.
Trying to think.
Not a laptop. No.
My target market are females and males aged 18 to 35.
I wouldn't say your USP is that you're...
It's in opera.
Well, your confidence, your character and your charisma. That's what you need.
So then we get to performance time. You know I'm going to put, the performances up in these videos. You know I'm going to do that. I'll do that for you. So we get to Hey Dog. Oh. He did it again. He impressed me. I ain't going to lie. He came out and that fight came with him. Do you know what I mean? They all loved him. Don't get it twisted. They all loved him. And that's what I've been saying. He's such an approachable, he's so open young man, like seriously. And Ricky Blue said, Hey Dog is confident without being arrogant. He's a likable young man, which he is.
Keep going, I'll be flying like I'm still trying like I should. I'm getting tired of the hood. I grew up on Purple Rain, grew up on training. Now I just need that 20k.
So then when you see Subliminal, for me, he talks about bringing the vim, he talks about bringing the swagger of his whiteboard flavour, and his performance, I didn't see him bring any of that, to be honest with you. His performance was okay, in my opinion. There were gaps in his performance that were kind of like being blotted out. And I don't know if it was him flubbing or swearing or they muted it. I don't know. Mimi basically said after his performance that, Subliminal's got potential to go to the finals. And to be fair, I think he does. I think he does too. Overall, the performance was good. It didn't blow my socks off, but I ain't a judge at the end of the day. And it'd be different watching it on TV to actually being there in a real life. Do you know what I mean?
This ain't the end of my story. This is just the first chap. Stress-free, but same time for the laughter. So watch me turn this 20k into 100 chips. Shows.
I think he has potential to go to the finals, in my opinion.
So then we get to Sabrizi, and all I thought was, I just hope she has the diction in her bars and clarity in her words to showcase her talent properly to these people, to show what it is that this is me, this is what I'm about. Do you know what I mean? Again, couldn't understand her. Again, she flubs the words and hums them. She let herself down big time. I don't think through Rap Game UK that we got to see who Sabrizi was at the end of the day. There were snippets of what she could be, but it just was not enough. So Krept had to tell her, like, you know what, just take out your phone and do it off your phone, so they could hear what it was that she was meant to say. They were so invested in the beginning, because her intro went strong and then it just kind of like veered. It was a car crash, basically. I did want her in the final, but with this performance, I really don't see it. The worst thing was, though, she used her phone, and even though she used the phone, my girl still couldn't get her words out. Krept was not happy at all at the end of the day, because I'm like, how you got your words in front of your face and you still flub it with the words in front of your face? That goes to show that she did not listen to the advice that Krept and Conan gave her in terms of simplifying her penmanship, simplifying the words that she has to say within a set beat to be able to get her words out with clarity. She didn't do that, and then again, she was fighting to catch up with the words that she'd wrote down, and she couldn't even do it.
Like a mission
writing stuff you can't do.
Anyway, on to Armani Steez. Now, don't get me wrong, his 16 bars were okay. But at first I thought to myself, isn't the 16 bars supposed to be about the journey within the competition? Because I didn't get that at all, first and foremost, once he started at all. It didn't give that impression that that's what he was going to be singing about. He managed to get to that point, and there was a bit of clarity, but then he flopped right at the end and then got hella mad with himself. And my man, after he walked out, was slamming doors and everything. And I'm like, no, love, not in mixed company. You don't do that. You don't do that. Wait till you get outside and then let it all out so other people can't overhear you. But what the frick you just did? Nah, that was not a good one. So for me, for Armani Steez, again, he's another one that likes to overcomplicate things. He doesn't make much sense but believes that he's making sense. Even when he turned to Correcting Conan and saying that, you know what, in the last episode, I'm going to do this because I'm going to dumb it down for years, and it still didn't make no sense. Like, seriously, the story was not gelling, and it's the same here. So Conan even said that he doesn't understand what Armani is trying to say, and it's like he's speaking in riddles. And that's what I'm getting. It honestly is like this man is speaking in riddles. In my humble opinion, I would say that it comes down to his writing. He's saying Ricky Blue felt that Armani was just trying to do too much. He was trying to be too clever, and that in essence, Armani Steez, as I spoke about already, said that he was dumbing it down for Correcting Conan, and it still didn't make any sense. Like, it really didn't.
If it ain't Armani, who is it? Fuck all that chat, I don't wanna hear it. Cocky to women, love what I do. Fuck.
So Cam Keddy came out, and I thought at this point, this boy needs to make a strong comeback, because boy, he went all out in the beginning, but there was again no stage presence. He was closing his eyes, he was looking at the floor, he wasn't integrating with the people that were in front of him. He went back to the Cam Keddy where his soul was taken the day after the day of the clash. That's where he went back to. He didn't make an impression, and then he flopped all over again. And I'm just like, at this point, it's High Dog and Subliminal in that final alone at the moment. I ain't even betting on my last fave right now, because all I wanted was for Leia to make it. So I thought, I'm not going to bet on her right now, just in case, you know, the effers hear me and decide that, you know what, yeah, nah, she ain't getting in and something fucks up, because yeah, nah, I was shutting my mind to that. I did feel sorry for Cam, but at the end of that, he just gave up fully. And Mimi was right when she said that he's just not ready for this, and he ain't. He's not ready for it.
But like a one night stand, I'm ending with execute the plan. I heard it's lonely at the top, but I'm an introvert.
He's not ready. He's not ready. That's all.
So Leia comes up, and my gal, oh, she came back with a bang. Her performance was golden. She was not playing when she went out on that stage. She said, I'm here to stay, and what? Basically, I told you her artistry is second to none. Like, absolutely second to none. Leia knows who she is. She knows what her sound is. She knows what works. She knows what doesn't work. And she takes instruction. She takes constructive criticism positively and makes those changes. It was kind of like the Leia you saw when she first came in. Oh my God. Yeah. She... just chef's kiss. Her and Hey Dog, chef's kiss at the end of the day.
One, what's the one for one? I came, they can't do it like I do it. I got a different point of view. In a journey, highs and lows. It's been a beautiful journey.
So then we get to Only Zizu. I think he will get into the final just by the pure chance of he ain't flubby at the end of the day, because with me, Only Zizu and Subliminal are on even keel at the end of the day. They haven't really made a standout performance. They haven't really made a really bad performance. They've just literally been like flatlining at the level that they're at. So that's why I think that these dudes, yeah, would get into the final just on that basis alone at the end of the day. His writing is good. He has a vibe. He did make it work for him, not gonna lie at all. But for me personally, I don't think he will hit the mainstream in terms of his presence. It's just the way that he brings it about. There's just nothing stage about him. Like, as I've already said, this man knows music. He knows how to compile music at the end of the day. And then when he went out, after he finished his set, they were basically saying about him that he should be a producer, because at the end of the day, he just does not show that charisma. He does not show that type of emotion that you're looking for in order to connect your audience. But with music, he's a fucking expert at the end of the day. From what he can put together, absolutely brilliant.
I'm highly regarded, stepped in this thing whole. You got the J. Cole thing about hoping I change your mind. Top 3, but I rank as 5.
He showed that he's really good at composing stuff.
I think like he should be a producer.
So then, as they're all waiting to see what it is that's been decided for them, because you know the challenges are now finished, now it's just them waiting to see who got into the final. Basically, you see Sabrizi talking to Hey Dog, Only Zizu and Subliminal. Sabrizi started some ish. I don't think she did that on purpose. I really don't think she did that on purpose. I think she was just literally talking in a roundabout way, and Only Zizu took offence to what it was that she said. So Sabrizi was not being shady in the slightest at the end of the day. So Sabrizi did bring up the fact that she will probably see Subliminal in the final with Laya and with Hey Dog. She then highlighted that, you know, Subliminal has been above Zizu twice in the rankings. Zizu looked like he was ready to start war when that happened at the end of the day. I really do think that Subliminal would get into the finals, to be honest with you, but only by a squeeze. I don't think there will be a massive margin between him and Oli Zizu at the end of the day, because I think it was just about stage presence alone. So Zizu said, I've been closer to 1 than you have, Subliminal, at the end of the day. I finished 2nd and Subliminal has been 4th each and every time. I mean, it's a fact. And it's a fact in terms of what Zizu was saying, but not a winner into the final does it make at the end of the day. So when Subliminal was trying to talk to him in regards to what it was that each of the judges has said, and the fact that, you know what, you lost out to Hey Dog, you did this, Only Zizu's problem is he doesn't see a wrong or a negative in his artistry. He believes that he's so overconfident, as I said, to the point of arrogance, that he has nothing to learn. He's got it on lock. When in order to perfect your art, you have to listen to instruction. You have to listen to guidance. You have to listen to constructive criticism and feedback at the end of the day. They're not saying that your artistry is shit. That's what they're not saying. But at the end of the day, they're saying where you could take it to a level 2. So it needs a little bit more work. So if you can learn from people, take that. Take that and run with it. Not everything is perfect. And that's what I think Only Zizu is. He's basically believing that his sound is absolutely perfect. He doesn't need to do shit with it. He doesn't need to learn from anything that anybody is saying. And if anyone does say anything negative, they're coming for him, when that's not necessarily the case. So this man said nothing will justify him losing out to Subliminal. And I'm like, my guy, I just hope he manages to watch this whole series back, like, seriously, and listen to what was said to him, to how he took it, and then how he behaved at the end of the day. It's not just about, you know, your craft being that bit better. It's about what you can do with your sound. It's about how you can cross to millions of people, especially within the UK. I mean, if we can't connect with a person's sound or their music, then it ain't happening. And I don't think Zizu gets that. Like, his music ain't poor. It really isn't poor. It's his sellability, it's his likability, it's relatability that's lacking, in my opinion, and it's the arrogance that's present at times. But you can let me know what you thought. So here it is in terms of who's in the final. We got Laya, we got Hey Dog, and we had Subliminal, Cam Keddy didn't make it. Sabrizi didn't make it, which wasn't surprising. Amani Steez didn't make it, which wasn't surprising. But then they went to Oli Zizu. Man was upset for the first time, because this is the first time that we saw emotion, because you know what? Oli Zizu was welcome to the final. I don't think he'll win though. But I really think it was because they couldn't choose between Subliminal and Oli Zizu. That's what it was. Them two were on an even keel. So if they took one, they had to take the other one. They had to. Like, they literally couldn't tell between the both of them. Leia and Hey Dog, clear favourites. Clear favourites. They already knew where them two were going. Them two were definitely going in the final. But when it came to Subliminal and when it came to Subliminal and Oli Zizu, as I believe, they couldn't pick between the both of them, so they had to have both of them. So your 4 finalists are Leia, Hey Dog, Subliminal, and Oli Zizu. For the win for me, because this is where the episode ended, I'ma have to look at Leia and Hey Dog for the win for me at the end of the day. As I've already said, if Leia don't win, I don't mind her losing out to Hey Dog, because both of them are spectacular. And the only way that them two will not win, and it would either go to Subliminal or Zizu, is if they literally make a spectacular faux pas. Like, literally make a spectacular faux pas. I just don't see that happening. Anyway, that is where I'm going to leave this video right now. And as I always say, my renegades and anybody that love to join my little renegade army, because I love them all so much, then as I always say, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so you know I'm doing videos. Please comment, like, share, and do all the good things that you do, because you know what? I continue to be on the road to 1K, people. Yes, indeedy. Speak to you all again soon. Peace out.